Hello, everyone. Today it's my great pleasure to have with us Dr. Giovanna Fogli. Giovanna Fogli is lecturer in CORE, in the School of Humanities, and she joined UCI about 20 years ago. Prior to that, she studied philosophy in Italy, and then she did a PhD at Yale in Italian literature. And so today Giovanna is going to show us how to make the perfect pizza. So Giovanna, take it away.
Okay, I'm going to show you how to make Giovanna's pizza. So we are going to start with proofing the yeast. We're getting the yeast to come back to life. This bowl that you see here has followed me since my graduate school days. So we're talking many years, and I love it because instead of having the fountain, I'll do everything in here. So I'm going to be showing you that I will be. You need warm water. I wouldn't say necessarily boiling water, but warm enough that it's comfortable. And we are going. Okay, we are going to be using today, we're going to make 4 cups pizza. I have to be honest with you, I never measure when I make pizza, I just make it. But for you, I took the time to do that. So we are going to start with 3/4 of a cup of warm water. We are going to be adding a generous teaspoon of dry yeast, and I'm going to show you. This is the kind of dry yeast. Of course, you don't have to buy it in industrial proportion. You can find small packets, but that's the yeast. And so that the yeast can come alive, you need sugar. Now, there are lots of theories on how to revive yeast. People use maple syrup. They use honey. I just go with sugar, simple sugar, and as you can see, not even a teaspoon, but it does do the trick. Then I'm just gonna move it like this, and I'm gonna leave it alone. So, while the yeast comes back to life, I'm going to show you how I prepare the veggies that I put on top of the pizza. Now, making pizza in a domestic oven, it's a bit of a trick because the heat is never right enough. If you're not careful and you top your pizza with veggies, they're going to release water and it's going to be a royal mess. So this is how I prepare my mushroom. I slice them, just a little bit of salt, and then I put them in my 400 degrees warmed up oven. I get a little fancier with the peppers. I slice them. I put some minced garlic, a little bit of olive oil, play with my hands, and then they also go in the oven. You'll notice that I use parchment paper. I am now in love with parchment paper because it really makes roasting veggies absolutely incredible. Okay, so they are going in here, and usually 15 minutes is enough. You don't really want to overcook them. You want the water to get out. Okay, this is still coming to life. So I want to show you something.
How long does it take to have it come back to life?
Well, usually between I don't know if you can see, but it's already kind of mini bubbling. 10 minutes, you need to give it 10 minutes because it needs, and don't hurry this step because the more the yeast is alive, the better and fluffier your dough is going to be. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back here. Now, as that goes, I want to show you that I've actually prepared this is the dough at the end, okay? After we started our dough, I'm going to be showing you that what I do when I make pizza, I actually cut this and I make little balls so that each one of them can be a little pizza. It's easier to spread it around. Okay, in fact, why don't we do that now? Should we do that now?
Absolutely.
While I wait
as we wait for the yeast to come back to life.
Yes, yes, yes. So we're gonna move the yeast right here, and we're gonna do this. Now,
maybe the yeast is a bit too close to the camera, so if we can move it some. Yeah, perfect.
Sorry. Okay, for some reason I prefer not to use. I think you can cut with a knife, but a long time ago I was told not to use knives on dough, so that's what I do. Okay, so in fact this is what usually people do. You take it and you cut it, and
with your hands,
and then you go like this again, right?
Yes.
So one. Okay, and one, two. Okay. Then what I do, I form little balls. You might, if it's too sticky, you just do this. You put a little bit of flour, right, on top, so it doesn't stick to your hands. But so, okay. Now, what happens, Rocky, please cooperate. What happens is that in this fashion, you will have your dough. You see how nice and elastic it is? Mm-hmm. Your dough is going to actually come to life again, you know, double, triple. And so that gives the nice texture. Okay, now we're gonna put these babies to sleep again. Okay. See, this doesn't like to be moved too much. So.
Is it upset now since it has been moved?
It's a little bit, it's coming back to me. You know, a funny thing about my making pizza, this is not something that was done in my family at all. I come from northern Italy, and so my tradition was more tagliatelle fatte in casa, lasagne, gnocchi, which I also make.
I know.
more of that. I started making pizza out of sheer desperation when I came to the States in '87. In 1987, the American pizza is not absolutely fantastic, but as my children say, it's a different thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's a different product. So I started doing it on my own. And that's when, by the way, that's pretty much when I acquired this. I'm not kidding. And then it became something that people enjoy, and I like to make it. And so now I also make some of my students, not now because we're all confined, but when we're not confined, I have a little bit of a tradition. To me, final season starts with focaccia. I make focaccia and I take it to class for when we do a review. So it's a reward for those people who show up. And it really has become kind of a tradition now. I think that we should actually start with this. So I put 3/4 of a cup before. Yes. I'm now going to put almost an entire cup in. And I'll tell you why. It's very important that you put as much water as you wanna have in your dough at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Because actually, if you try to add it as you're making the dough, you end up with a sticky mess. Also, a wetter dough makes for a lighter and fluffier pizza. So it depends on what you like. Okay. So, there it is. Okay. So I'm adding water. Okay. I then add a generous, let's say 1 tablespoon of olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
As you see, I'm cheating. This is more than 1 tablespoon.
Yes.
You know, you have to decide not too much, because then you really get. And now something that used really to scare me when I started a long time ago, I have to put salt.
Yes.
And you know, the salt, sugar makes the dough alive. So in my silly non-chemical knowledge, I was afraid the salt would kill it, but it doesn't. So, well, you know, I had a very binary mind. Just, don't put too much salt, because the toppings are really going to do the thing. But you do want to have some salt, unless you like very, you know, unsavory things. Okay. And now we're starting. I'm going to show you that I cheat a little bit. But you know what? I don't care. I've done it for more years than I like to remember. So this is my small thing of flour that I have here for, you know.
Just to make sure that you don't run out of stock.
Now, I add flour a bit at a time, right?
Yes.
Because if you do it all together, you get with a clump of thing, and it's really going to be difficult. So let's start with a cup, okay?
Perfect.
A cup of flour, and then you go. And go. And go. Now, if you look up recipes for pizza, I'm sure you'll find the other method, which is big fountain and water in the middle. I actually never understood why making your life so difficult.
Yeah, I agree.
Second cup of flour, and I'm still using the spoon because
it's watery.
Yeah, you can hear the squish, squish, squish.
Yes.
The nice thing about this is that you can also vary the amount of flour, right? I mean, if you put a little bit too much water, not a problem. You'll just add a little bit more. Like probably this time there was a little bit too much water.
What kind of flour are you using?
Okay, the theory is that the best flour for pizza is the so-called 00, which simply is white flour refined twice. And it is, I'm told, made with younger kind of grain. You really can't find that here. You know, cake flour comes close to it, but the reality is that any flour, any, you know, all-purpose flour is good. It's better. I like the unbleached just because I think it's just psychologically the idea of my flour being bleached doesn't fly, but any kind of flour. In fact, if you are so inclined, you can even put some whole wheat flour. Of course, be careful because whole wheat flour makes it very hard, okay?
Yes.
Okay, we're starting. You see why I love my bowl?
Yeah, and then you don't throw the flour around, so you don't have a mess in your kitchen.
Okay, I think we're going to have to go probably for more than 4 cups here. Yeah, because if I can still do this, well, we'll see. You see?
Yes.
Okay. Flour in my hand to clean the spoon.
Perfect.
And now, hands. As
so
I said,
when it's solid enough that you can hold it in your hands, you.
At this point, yes, but I have to tell you, this is going to be a 5 cups.
Yeah, that's also
an option because, yeah.
Something that we like to remind people that are watching these videos is that, you know, we give suggestions as to how prepare various dishes, but then, you know, anything can change as you are making them. Absolutely. And you have to be ready to adjust and go with the flow.
Exactly, look.
Wow.
Okay, so the way that I like to work this, it's fold, go around, fold, go around. But everybody does whatever. For people who have never done any kind of dough, the first time you put your hands in this, you want to cry because you don't think you're ever going to get rid of it. And that's not true because this really becomes smooth and soft. Now, pizza dough doesn't need to be overly worked. It's not like bread, okay? So, okay. Then I get tired, so I go with the other one. Okay. Okay, okay. Now, I confess that I like to keep it a little sticky because if it's a little bit, tiny bit sticky, it means that it's on the wetter side and I get a softer, but also cruncher on the outside kind of pizza. I love pizza.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the problems. I eat a lot of pizza. Okay, here it is.
Wow, perfect.
And as you can see, okay, I can already bounce it. Okay, and then we'll put it a riposare.
It has to rest a little bit. How long?
Usually I give it at least an hour and a half. And then I'll do what I'm gonna show you what I did. After an hour and a half, I cut it, and then I'll give it another half an hour. So that when I go in to make the pizza, it's grown again. Sorry, I'm just washing my hands. Because after all these years, the flour does bother me. Isn't it funny? Okay. So now this baby is going to go to sleep. We're going to put, it's a good idea to put a kitchen towel on top. Keeps it better. Okay, now let's take a look for a moment. Mira. Okay, look. This will be okay. See how the mushroom it's a little bit dry. So I'm gonna leave it in here just for a moment. I want to see what the okay. I like to. Ok, sì?
Isa, chiudi la porta per favore, perché sennò la Mila esce e poi abbai.
Okay. So I think they're ready, but I'm going to return them to the oven just for 5 minutes. Okay, so now we have to talk about cooking the pizza.
Yes.
For years and years and years, I used my oven. And then I was given this thing here, which I'm going to show you. This is called La Petite Pizzeria. I don't know why French, because honestly, but anyway. And that's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to cook it here just because it's much quicker. It only takes 5 to 6 minutes. And you can see how one pizza comes. But I will tell you how to cook it in the oven and the temperature you should use and how much and how long the pizza should be in there. People like to use pizza stones sometimes. The problem with pizza stone in the oven is that, to me, because ideally you should warm the pizza stone before you put the pizza on top, and then it gets tricky. Because you need to be, unless you are amazingly good with this, you know, it can be a little bit of a problem. Okay.
But you have the tools just in case.
Oh my gosh, yes, I have the tools. I have the tools. Okay, so should we? I need to turn on this. So we are going to be having.
So La Petite Pizzeria is an electric oven, basically,
Yes,
right?
it's an electric oven. I'm crazy. I own two, but but actually, I can also show you. Actually, I have the oven on, so maybe we can just also. I can also show you how it comes in the oven. It's just that it takes longer. It takes 25 minutes, so you know, for the time. Okay, let me show you what I put on top of the pizza. Let's talk about the second most important thing after the dough, and that is the sauce, right? Okay, now people have all kinds of taste about pizza sauce. My pizza sauce, it's the simplest thing ever. In fact, it is not a cooked sauce. It has only 4 ingredients, 5 sometimes, and it is made out of diced, usually organic tomatoes. If I were in Italy, I would probably use what we call the pomodori San Marzano. But here, I'm really happy with this. I like this the DSW brand. They're actually really nice. And what I do, I use a blender. Okay.
Yes.
So blender. One, actually, I'm gonna put more than one because we're gonna need more than one.
A generous quantity.
There are gonna be people who are gonna eat this pizza later, and so this pizza will be dispatched. Because we eat it all, things are going to be okay. So let's say 2 of these. Okay. To which I add minced garlic, right? And let's say for this, probably, let's say a teaspoon of pretty much. We don't want to exaggerate. And of course, we are going to add salt. Again, the equivalent of half a teaspoon. And so I like to put a little bit of red pepper.
Yes.
A pinch, right?
A pinch.
So a pinch, just, you know, to give it a little bit of taste. Oregano. This is the last of some Greek oregano that I was given. Now, okay, on this there are 2 schools of thoughts. In Tuscany, and that's pretty much, I guess, where part of my culinary background comes, the oregano is, for some reason, the oregano is the one. Naples, I think, loves more fresh basil, right? So
yes,
you'll need to decide
which school you belong to.
Yeah, it's very good oregano, so I'll still go with this. The last thing that we're gonna put in here is some olive oil. And here I'm generous. Okay. I just give it a few seconds because I don't want to be pureed. I just want to cut those little diced tomatoes a little bit more, okay? So, that's it. And I'll show you the consistency.
Wow.
See, you can still see the pieces, but they are cut down. Okay? Okay. And now, takes a little bit. So let me show you, as I said, what I'm going to put possible toppings for our pizza. Okay. So I really love onions, red onions. For some reason, I think the red onions is the one that really good. See, simple red onion. We are now going to be rescuing our mushrooms. Okay. The great thing about pizza, now COVID is not allowed enough to do it, but it is a great thing to cook together with friends. Traditionally, I make the dough earlier, but the topping, people tell you what they want. You just eat until you can't take it anymore. It is really a social
event,
yes.
As we call it in Italy, la pizzata. So
pizzata,
eat
yes.
Until you can't take it in anymore.
Even though I have to say, in Italy, there are so many places where you can get amazing pizza that you end up buying the pizza most of the time.
Although I have to say, at least in Bologna, where I typically go back, it's not that easy to find great pizza.
Oh, I see. Well, it also something that for Americans, for Americans might be a little difficult to imagine is that we have so many different pizzas. Like we have the two main schools, right? Actually, the three schools of pizza. We have the, of course, Neapolitan pizza, which legend or tradition says was born from a rather poor dish. So basically, just like tortillas or pitas, pizza was a base, and fishermen would put fish on it, and pizza as we know it now, with we're gonna make that traditional with the tomato sauce, mozzarella, and the basil on top, called margherita in Italian. Was actually made in honor of Queen Margherita. So it was a chef that's the myth, created this. Neapolitans are very proud of their pizza. And you should also know that the dough that you find in Naples is made, I think, in a different way. They actually have a different process, so they keep the starter, the mother, we call it in Italian. And so rather than just being 2 hours of rising time, it's actually 12 hours. And sometimes I think that before dying, I'm gonna try that to make my own starter. The other, so one is a Napolitan, and Napolitan pizza is crunchy on the outside, but really soft all over. Then there is the Roman pizza. Roman pizza is as thin as it can be. And usually really, really large, but the third kind of pizza is a Tuscan pizza. In Tuscany pizza, you can find it in cooked in, I would say it's like the grandma of the Chicago pizza. So little containers, little cookie sheets with the pizza that can be this high, and it's usually. I don't think it requires the same kind of process that, for example, the Napolitan requires. So we have many kinds. So in Bologna, you don't have good pizza? Come on, really?
No, you can find some good pizzeria, but you have to know where to look for them.
Yes, of course.
You can't just walk into the first one on the street and.
Well, that is actually true even in Naples, I think. Even though they, of course, they'll deny that. I remember my first pizza in Naples, I was 17 years old. And it was for a political rally, so we're talking the days. And I remember this little hole in the wall in this place, and the gentleman comes to the table and asks, what do you want? And I say, oh, I like a Napolitan. Because see, in Turin, the Napolitan pizza is the pizza that has anchovies, and the guy looks at me and goes, I'm gonna tell you in Italian, and then I'll translate. Signori, ca tutte napolitane stanno. Which meant, girl, they're all Napolitan here. And I will forever, that to me will be, it kind of symbolizes the Napolitan love for pizza, that spirit. Okay, so let me show you now. Great thing about pizza, you can put whatever you want on top of it. It could be traditional with the tomato sauce and the cheese, but also, and lots of people like that, you don't have to put it, not even what they call white sauce. Just go with your dough. I just made it a couple of weeks ago. Just the dough, prosciutto, asparagus cooked with the pizza, and then prosciutto, fresh prosciutto on top of it, or salmon, smoked salmon on top of it. Amazing, takes me. Or you can put, all kinds of meat on top. I will show you, so traditional pizza, and I will show you how we're gonna do it, is usually tomato sauce, mozzarella. Then my children, and all the children in the world, well, all the children who can eat pork in the world, love pepperoni. You don't have to use the pork pepperoni. There is quite a very good kind of turkey pepperoni, so if you want to use that. A pizza that it's traditional, at least I grew up with that, it's the prosciutto e funghi.
Yes.
And the one that I really like, though, it's has anchovies, capers, and why not onions too. And this one takes a little bit. Oh, and garlic, I forgot. Okay, we also have here peppers. And these are eggplants. These eggplants were prepared just like I did the peppers. So cut, put in the oven. Okay, so this is what we have here. And why don't we prepare one? Okay. So,
we can't wait.
Yeah. Can I do it?
Absolutely.
But stop me. Okay.
No. Go ahead.
Ooh, yeah. Okay, so let us, yes. Sorry, I know I disappeared. Did I disappear for a moment?
We saw you.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought, okay. Okay. So let's take one of these. Okay. As you can see, I'll start moving like this. Now, two schools of thoughts here as well. If you want to make it very, 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 very thin, you could use a rolling pin. But see, the rolling pin doesn't allow those pockets of soft and crunchy that I think are so good when you make pizza. So I prefer to do this, to kind of work a little bit. I'm not going to throw it in the air, so don't even think about that, because I've never learned. I think it's just showing off, and I don't see the point. It's undignified. No, honestly, I think that it would just fall on my face. So really, so it gets bigger and bigger. Okay. Okay, now, the thinner it is, the quicker it's going to cook. Okay? Yeah. So if you like thick, that's fine. Just consider that it's going to take more time. Now, if you cook it in the oven, you can even just use a cookie sheet. Not a problem. Just have the, do not use parchment paper with pizza. It's a no-no. It does not come out well. Still have to find out why, but it doesn't. Because of course I tried. So just wet your hands with olive oil and pass it you know, just on the cookie sheet, and that's it. It doesn't really have to be more than that. Okay.
And what kind of temperature do you recommend if you cook it in the oven?
Okay, I usually start, I put it up to 425, 430. And when I put the pizza in, I lower to 415. And then I look. Now, one thing that I do though, you see, I don't put the cheese together with the other ingredients because I like the cheese to be not crusty, but still be melting. A note about the cheese. So this is low moisture mozzarella. And so you don't have to worry about it. It's already low moisture and you can, I thought that for the purpose is probably better. I like to use fresh mozzarella, but when I use fresh mozzarella, I actually squeeze it with my hand very, very much. Okay. Yes. So that you can get all the possible, because that mozzarella is going to just wet your pizza completely. Okay. Okay. Now, so here's the thing. You can't see, can you see this? No.
Yes, yes, we can see it.
I can.
You can leave it there, yeah.
Because this is what I do. Okay. I actually work there with this. So it's now hot as I want it. So how are we going to make this one? Simple, or should we put a little bit of pepperoni on top?
Whatever you prefer.
Actually, why don't we start with a traditional
Margherita or Napolitana? Napolitana.
Okay, so what I'm going to need is the tomato sauce, the capers, I mean the anchovies, a little bit of garlic, and I really love caper. No, but it's Napolitana, so no capers. Okay, so what I'm doing is I put it directly on. Of course, I'm going to show you how to make one in the oven though, because otherwise it doesn't really make much sense. Then I spread some of this. I don't overdo it because, but I make sure that it's all over. Okay. And then I put a few anchovies, a little bit of garlic, and I close it. And then 3 minutes before it's ready, I'll add the cheese. I'm going to show you also how to do it in the oven. So I'm going to actually, yes. So let's say we are going to be using, well, you know what? We're going to be using this little thing here, which is, see, it's just the bottom of a pie maker. So start with this again.
It's very elastic.
Yes. Yes. Okay, I am going to put this time, as I said, I need a little bit of olive oil to wet this, otherwise it'll stuck. Make sure that it's all nicely, which also makes it easier to do this. Then, because it's, this is actually nice because it's a perfect size.
Yeah.
And then we are going to be putting some tomato. And okay, let's go creative with this. What should we put on?
Can you move the tomato because it's in front of the camera? Thanks.
Sorry. Okay, so how about we go veggies with this?
Yes.
So we're gonna go with a little bit of mushroom. A little bit of peppers. We'll top it with onions. And I think we're done. I love eggplants.
Yeah, perfect veggie pizza.
This is a perfect veggie pizza. By the way, if you are lactose intolerant, you don't like cheese, it's also amazing like this, okay? So I am going to be putting it in. Sorry, I have an old oven. And we are going to be setting a timer. Okay, given that it's such a small pizza, I'm going to just set the timer for 15 minutes. That's another thing that it's very important with pizza. It really depends on the size. If you make a small one, it's going to take much less, of course. So give me, I'm gonna wash my hands and then I'm gonna look at what's happening in this neck of the woods. Ooh, nice. So, what else? The other thing about pizza is that it's very cheap.
Yes.
So I realize that in a college dorm, it might be difficult to do this. But surely the first time you have an apartment with your friends, you can do it. It's really a satisfying thing to do. And it doesn't really take that much time. And
yeah, you can leave the dough grow or the yeast revive, come back to life by itself.
Yeah, I make pizza. A good thing about this dough, you can freeze it. And when you frost it, it comes back to life. I mean, it rises again. And I guess that's because it is done with dry yeast. If you do it, as I said before, with the starter, the traditional mother, I don't think it's going to do the same. But the dry yeast clearly has a kick in it, and so never stops. Okay, so now I like where the pizza is, therefore I'm going to put some cheese on top of it. Okay, and now I'll give it another couple of minutes and we'll see what happens.
Do you want to bake and prepare another one? Maybe something with meat?
Another one.
Time around.
Should we prepare pepperoni?
Yeah, sounds great.
Let's prepare a pepperoni one. And that's, my son is gonna be sad, sorry not to be here today. Yeah. Cooking is a very important part, I think, of existence. Not just because it feeds us, which of course, I mean, it's, but because it's a source. I think it is really a, the relationship that we have with food measures our sanity. You know, really, it kind of, it allows us to be creative. It is also a metaphor for life because you spend a lot of time preparing something and then you consume it a bit. So it's a beautiful thing, right? As philosophers well know from the symposium on, right? And it's not just the wine, it's also what you eat. Okay, let's just prepare it here and then we'll move it. So let's put some tomatoes. Again. And then what do we say we're going to do? Pepperoni?
Yes.
Pepperoni. Pepperoni, it's a love, the love of, I actually like, in Italian, you know that we don't have pepperoni.
I know.
And so, yeah, but I mean, the confusion in my mind when I came to this country in '87, I did not speak one word of English. I'll tell you, it was really interesting, okay? So being asked if I wanted pepperoni, of course, as an Italian, I expected peppers. And when I saw this thing coming, oh boy, that was a little bit shocking.
Close friends, yeah.
Oh yes, the cognates and not cognates. Okay, let's see this baby here. Oh, it's almost ready. Let's give it one more second. And then we're gonna put it on a plate. Okay, in fact, we're gonna just get another cup. Okay, so wait, I have a smaller one that probably works better. And here it is.
Wow.
If I put it here, can you still see it? No.
Yeah, that's perfect. If you put it on the flour, it's perfect. Yeah.
Okay, right there. And see, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I see why you prefer to do it next to the pizza maker.
I think I can still do it, but
yeah, it's not as convenient.
Rocky, amore, that's okay. That's okay. Is it okay here? Does it bother you?
No, it's perfect. Perfect.
Okay. So she's cooking too. Pizzas are feminine, of course. So okay, let's make another one. This time we're gonna make it with mushroom and
ham.
Ham, I was thinking about the Quattro Stagioni.
Oh yes, that is an Italian favorite.
It's called Quattro Stagioni, 4 seasons. But in some places they put artichokes in it.
Yes.
In other places, it's actually so we could put the peppers instead of the artichoke.
Yeah. If we don't have the artichokes.
Well, I have the artichokes that are frozen, so I'll take a little bit of time.
Not this time around. Maybe next time.
Not this time around. No. No, not this time around. Okay. Okay.
The other thing that I noticed, because of course my mom is a great cook and
yes.
She makes pizza. I don't. I'm not very good at baking. I think, people need special talents sometimes because baking is a bit tricky. Let's face it.
Yeah, because sometimes the silliest thing. Well, I think it's a matter of. It's a muscle memory. I'm not kidding. You do it so many times, and it kind of stays with you, right? You like every time people say, "Oh, pizza," to me, it's the easiest thing in the world. But just like for our mothers, making pasta fatta in casa is,
Yeah.
For me, I have to say I do it, but it's still a production, right? Because, and I remember my mother was like, and she didn't have, she would do the pasta with the rolling pins. So, but I do believe it's a muscle memory thing. I just decided I'm going to do one thing though. It is.
Yeah, that is also something that we have seen already in other videos, namely the fact that cooking is more a form of know-how rather than know that. Of course, we give indications, suggestions, tips about how to do things, but really comes with practice, and then it's kind of embodied cognition at some point, when it's ready because you have seen it.
Muscle memory almost. I have to say, I love cooking, of course. I'm not good at following recipes. because what I like about cooking is the creativity. And recipes are sometimes really stifling. So my kids say that I can never follow a recipe down to the end, which is true. There's a moment in which I'm going, I'm not doing that. Which is probably why I don't make cakes that much, because with pastry, either you go, or you can't really take shortcuts. But it is an amazing form of expression. I thought it was interesting that in these times of COVID, all of a sudden everybody wanted to make bread.
Yes.
It was like, which is, I mean, think about it. We all say that we don't like to eat carbs. And the first thing that people want to make is bread. So there must be some kind of, so I'm putting some prosciutto. And I'm going to do the way that they do it in Italy, here, in thirds. We're going to put some olives.
Yes, that's perfect.
Here, like
so that. I was saying that I noticed that you make relatively small pizzas and then you vary them a lot. My mom at home used to make it sort of bigger pizzas and then not so much of a variety. But I think that yours are better than my mom's. I've tried them.
It's
I know from experience.
You know that because you had my pizza. When people come to my house, I like to make pizza. I like every pizza to be different. Yes. I mean, the only exception is, of course, children. Children are very conservative, right?
Yes.
And because they are so conservative, with them you've got to be very careful because they only want certain things.
Yes.
But I like to be, things have to be different. And okay, how are you doing?
And I can assure you guys that you are watching this video now that Giovanna's pizza is great. Doesn't matter what she puts on top of it, it's always fantastic. And it's a great pleasure to just taste a little bit of all this variety of amazing pizzas.
It is, it's maybe the same reason that I like gnocchi. I like gnocchi because I usually prepare 4, 5, 6 different dressing to put on top of it.
It's a gnocchi feast. Maybe next time we'll do gnocchi.
The last time we made gnocchi, it really was overwhelming. There were flour all over the place. As you can see, I don't have a gigantic kitchen, but okay. Okay, now this one. This is the pepperoni one. So it's
it's already.
I'm gonna have to put it here though.
Ready? Yeah, it's okay. No worries.
And okay. Okay. Okay then.
And then, I arrived here in the States, on this side of the States, on the West Coast, a little over 4 years ago, I believe. And to this day, I haven't tried to make bread yet. Whereas when I was in Italy, I was making bread every day. But I had a very simple recipe with live yeast. And I was making it with a bread maker machine.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I would make my own bread almost every day. I had my flours and here I haven't been able to find the ingredients that I know how to make bread with. So I haven't been making bread since I've arrived. Which is a bit of a concern because it's difficult to find nice bread, I believe.
Yeah, right. I have to say, I as well have not really. I'm surprised. I love bread, and it's not always easy to find good bread here, right? But for some reason, I keep saying to myself, that that one day I will make my starter, you know, my madre, and somehow it never worked. I would have done it in this COVID experience, but for a long time, flour disappeared. It was like buying gold. One day somebody's gonna have to explain to me this weird psychological trap of people that decide that toilet paper and flour are the two things that we need. It's just really, it's some kind of, I can't wrap my mind around that, right? Okay, this one, I like to make it with all the Mediterranean things. So we're gonna put a little bit of anchovies. Oh yes, I'm coming, baby.
That's the oven?
Yes, for the one that we put in there. Oh, Rocky, no, it's nobody. That's my pit bull.
Yes, Giovanna has a
Happy
wonderful pit bull called Rocky. And Rocky
put olives.
maybe wants to be part of the video.
Rocky is very stressed out these days. You know, I teach online, and so I have, and when he hears me talking, some reason. So this one had anchovies, capers, olives, a little bit of red onions, and just for the sake of it, and because Italy is Italy, we'll put a little bit of garlic on top. And now I have to wait. Oh yes, we have the one in the oven, huh?
It's always a good idea to have a little bit of garlic.
Yes.
Particularly now that we are social distancing, we don't have to worry about that, and we can just be
so this
generous.
one that we made in the oven. As you can see, it's the same. It's perfectly. Maybe that method let's imitate the pizzeria a little bit more, but this is the same. Look, this is the one that we made with all the veggies.
Beautiful.
Okay, so we're gonna put that. I'm sorry, I'm gonna come around here. This is gonna be put here too. I'll tilt the computer before the end so that we can look at all of them, right? Okay. And this. And we are waiting now for this one to be, ooh, I like that. It's soft. Because see, if you don't, and it's a matter of taste. Sometimes I do like to have a little bit more of a bready situation. I'm gonna put a little bit of cheese.
Definitely a tip that we can take home from this wonderful demonstration of how to make pizza is to add the cheese, the mozzarella, around, towards the end of the cooking time for the pizza, which is something that I didn't know. I've always put pizza mozzarella immediately with the sauce and the topping. Maybe sometime
a little crunchy, and therefore not exactly. Okay, so we're just waiting for this.
We are good.
That's pizza.
That's the pizza party. So
that's pizza. Sorry, I can't have you guys tasted it because I have to confess, the best thing for me is when I see people eating something I make, and there is that moment. That's no word or compliments. You just see, yes, I nailed it. That to me is the great thing about cooking.
That moment of clear satisfaction.
Yes. I like to think that I'm not a very competitive person. I probably lie to myself. But when it comes, but I do like the accomplishment, the feeling of, yes, things are what they're supposed to be. Sorry, guys, I'm just moving the basil because, okay. And
so
how's the light? Do I need to turn on the light? No?
No, the light is good.
Good, okay. Okay, and this is, see how thicker this is?
Yeah.
And it's our last one. So we're gonna put it here too. And here it is.
Wonderful.
So it is a, yes, Rocky, not for you. Sorry.
So that was the Four Seasons.
This is the first season, exactly. So not with things one on top of the other. The first season is different because, as you can see, they're in separate quarters, right?
Yes.
So veggies don't overlap with each other. Okay, and I will now cook this one. Rocky, I think Rocky is starting to feel ignored.
Like a baby.
Yeah. Oh yes, it is. Okay, this one is a bit of a problem. Let's try with another thing. What? I have too many of these.
That's fantastic.
But this is why.
Oh, that's genius.
It's genius, but maybe this part. Okay. See? And now, go.
Bravo, bravo, Giovanna. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you for having come and see this. I'm gonna turn the computer so you can see the pizzas.
Yes. Wow. Guys, this is really a pizza feast, a pizza party. It's a shame that we can't be there with you to enjoy the pizza, but we'll soon hopefully resume in-person eating.
Okay.
So everybody, I hope you enjoyed this one. Goodbye and enjoy. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.